You're listening to the Full Court Press with your host, Drew Duncan. Don't you dare touch that dial. LeBron James and Kyrie Irving, the NBA set the tip off. Bad blood. And it is bad blood. It's not a media concoction. You purposely left. You asked for a trade. You got it. Another player has been said to have been disrespected in Isaiah Thomas. So now Kyrie Irving is with the Celtics. LeBron James is with the Cavaliers. So is Isaiah Thomas. The Cavs acquired Dwayne Wade. Kyrie Irving wants to be the guy. Can he get it done? This is not going to be a user-friendly game. It may start off that way, but for some reason, I get the feeling that this could be a championship caliber atmosphere tonight. There is a lot going on here. There's a lot going on. Obviously, the main topic of discussion is going to be LeBron James and Kyrie Irving. And if anybody thinks that they're going to be nice to each other, oh, let me pat you on the back, da-da-da-da-da. Sir, this is going to heat up. This is going to turn into a rival. That is the intensity of this situation. And I'm not going to regale you with stats because it's not about that. I'm not going to talk about formations. I'm not going to talk about running plays. I'm not going to talk about styles of offense and defense. I'm not going to talk about any of that because it's all honestly irrelevant tonight. That's all there is to it. I don't really foresee this game being pretty. I think it's going to be an ugly nightmare one way or the other. I mean, it's already to the point where the Celtics owner, Grusbeck, has been trying to text Isaiah Thomas, and he says he hasn't returned any of them. Don't you think there's a reason for that? I wonder what that could be. I don't know. Maybe because after I played my guts out for you, after the tragic passing of my sister, you all decided to trade me. Like I'm no big deal. I got everybody talking about my defense. I've got everybody saying this and that. But I'm telling you right now, Isaiah Thomas is teed off. This is how teed off Isaiah Thomas is. This, an official report, Isaiah Thomas, I might never talk to Danny Ainge again. That might ever happen. I'll talk to everybody else, but what he did, knowing everything I went through, you don't do that, bro. That's not right. I'm not saying F you. But every team in this situation comes out a year or two later and says, we made a mistake. That's what they'll say, too. Now, Isaiah Thomas isn't going to be playing until January, most likely, because of a hip. But to have that out there, I think it says a lot. And I'm telling you right now, I think LeBron James may be carrying some of that mentality with him. Because I think LeBron is going to look at that mentality. And because if he's saying that to the world, if he's saying that to reporters, can you imagine what he's saying in a locker room to those guys? Do you have any idea how bad he probably wants Cleveland to take it to Boston? Because at the end of the day, he really can't be mad at Kyrie. Now, is it Kyrie's fault that this is all transpired, that he wanted out? Who knows? I mean, LeBron James is the one running around calling Kyrie Irving kid. LeBron James is the one who won't call his own team's name or team's owner his name. He just calls him the owner. He's trying to say that the Cleveland Cavaliers owner has sabotaged him and the basketball team. Meanwhile, they acquired Isaiah Thomas and Dwayne Wade. Because he's trying really hard to sabotage the team. Then on top of that, internally with the Cleveland Cavaliers, you've got another situation brewing. Because you've got J.R. Smith. He's over here going, I didn't know that D-Wade was going to start and da-da-da-da-da. But beforehand, and I would love to know what happened to this comment when he said, I'm not going to get into a, quote, pissing contest Then later on, he said something even more vulgar. He said, quote, I'm not going to get into a crotch measuring contest. Of course, I'm cleaning that up. Now he's all like, I feel replaced and all this other stuff is going on. So internally, does J.R. Smith get on the court and decide that he's got too much to prove and go rogue the way we saw him do in New York? Remember, when he was with the Knicks, he wasn't the most well-liked guy in the building. Flagrant fouls, constantly getting in trouble. There were a lot of people who thought he was doing a lot of it on purpose just so that way he could get out of New York. Just so that way the Knicks could say he's a problem. We don't want him. We're going to find out if that's real JR, real deal J.R. Smith. And it very well could be. Is he going to be able to perform tonight with the D. Wade situation hanging over in his head? Because D. Wade's apparently going to be the starter. So is there internal animosity going on that's even worse maybe than what's been reported initially? Because J.R. Smith has a lot on his head. He's been a part of a championship team. He's put in his work. And there were a lot of people saying that, well, he was in New York, why couldn't Melo win games? Look at what he's doing in Cleveland. But did he want to be in New York? I just had Kevin Cook, former editor-in-chief at Sports Illustrated, writer of GQ and Men's Health Magazine. He's got the book Electric October out. He is a Boston and Brooklyn native. And he said, nobody wants to come to New York to play right now. He was talking about the Knicks. Don't you think that that's saying something? JR wanted out of that situation. Maybe he just didn't play up to snuff. Maybe he just did enough to do what he had to do in order to get a decent contract and be on a championship caliber team like the Cleveland Cavaliers. What's it going to be like if him and Dwayne Wade end up on the floor at the same time tonight? It's a possibility. It's not a probability, but it's a possibility. So not only do you have this situation with LeBron and Kyrie going on, but then you got all this internal stuff over here with the Cleveland Cavaliers. So when you start adding up the fact that LeBron starts off this whole thing by calling Kyrie kid, you look at that and you go, well, geez, no wonder Kyrie wanted out. Who the hell would want to stick around for stuff like that? I tried to put him under my wing. I tried to teach him. Who would want to do that? What grown man would tolerate that after a while? Would you? I mean, would you honestly tolerate that if you didn't have to? Hey, man, I'm good enough. I'll go somewhere else. Then you've got LeBron James beefing with the owner. Then you've got not Dwayne Wade's end, from what I've seen, but J.R. Smith upset now with the ownership as well, and upset with the coaching as well, and upset with D. Wade being there as well. Nobody's happy in Cleveland about anything right now. And there's, of course, all these rumors about LeBron James trying to get to L.A., go play for the Lakers. They've got Ball over there. He's showing you great passing skills. Who wouldn't want to be a part of that? If you're a guy like LeBron James, why wouldn't you want to be a part of that? But that's really neither here nor there right now. Then on the other end, you got Kyrie Irving, who's had to hear time and time again that he wasn't winning games until LeBron James showed up. But then on the other end, he's got other people in his ear going, dude, you average more points per game than Pippen. You did better than John Paxson. All these people that allegedly were the reason why Michael Jordan was where he was at in his career throughout the 90s. Am I the only guy seeing that I just don't think anybody was happy in Cleveland? Maybe people weren't happy to be around LeBron or the ownership, whatever you want to lay it out to be, because obviously somebody out there likes LeBron, because D. Wade is loving being there, and LeBron James is like cloud nine. He's like a kid in a candy store with him and his new little buddy back. So what do you think? When you start looking at this and this game and how it goes down tonight, how do you truly perceive it? You know, the Celtics were a pretty good basketball team last year. And I think that they have a lot to offer the NBA right now, and they've got a better chance at competing in the playoffs than people think. What was it? It was Charles Barkley who came out, was it yesterday or the day before? And he said, it's frustrating having to pretend like anybody else has a chance when we know it's going to be Cleveland and Golden State. But do you really? Doesn't that give you enough ammunition right there to think that everybody else in the NBA has a right to feel insulted in that very moment? The way that John Wall has played ball, the big trade with Carmelo Anthony, he's now with his big three down there in Oklahoma City, and Russell Westbrook and Paul George. Or is everybody still forgetting about Kawhi Leonard in the San Antonio Spurs? And 27 points, if I remember correctly, that he had in the third quarter before he went down, and the 20-point lead that the Spurs had before he went down. I guess people just forget about Kawhi Leonard. He doesn't exist, right? What about Kyrie Irving? He got his licks in while he was in Cleveland. It's not like he wasn't performing up to snuff. And how about Boston competing up until Isaiah Thomas got hurt? Because on the other end of the spectrum, you've got Draymond Green saying things like, we should have swept them. I was ticked off. And he's probably right. They probably should have swept them 4-0. When you've got Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, arguably two of the best five, maybe, players in the NBA on one team. I know where Charles Barkley's coming from. I get that. But now that I think the incentive is there for everybody else, and everybody's got something to prove. And what is that one thing that they have got to prove? That I can be here too. I am here too, and I should be here, and I'm going to show you why I'm here. This game tonight is going to set the tone for the NBA season. How this thing plays out, whether it's friendly or gritty, I think is going to set up the tone for the entire NBA season. I think everybody's going to be watching this game to figure out how the NBA is going to play this year. Because I think the respect factor is there, but I think on the court, depending on how this game goes, you may see it all go away. You might see guys just start getting after each other. Because I'm telling you what, if Boston is competitive at all tonight, even if they lose, if they play like hell, and Kyrie Irving really shows out in this ball game and it gets physical, it's going to set the tone for the entire NBA season. You couldn't dream as the NBA commissioner of a better situation than this. Because this is going to get you some ratings tonight, I can guarantee you. And if this game is mean, nasty, and physical the way that I think it should be, the way that I think it probably will be, it is going to set the tone for every other team in the NBA this year. What about Portland? Has everybody forgot about them and what they're capable of? And by the way, they wanted Carmelo Anthony, and I thought he would have been a great addition to what they've already got going on over there. How about Milwaukee and their defense? Going back to Portland, think about Damian Lillard. That guy, he's an amazing ball player. I think we're too focused right now on LeBron James, and I understand that it's hard not to be. There are other teams in this league, and I don't think that it's a one-man show, and I don't think it's a two-team game. I think there's a big possibility for a lot of things to happen, and I'm telling you what, if they set a physical tone tonight, then teams like Milwaukee and Portland and Oklahoma City will be able to change the way that they play basketball, and it will change for the better. And I don't think there's a Cleveland player, except for maybe J.R. Smith, that could handle physicality like that for 82 games of basketball, period. This is the Full Court Press. I am your host, Drew Duncan. We're live from the K-Sun Studios in Wichita, Kansas. I am on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at Drew Duncan 83. Don't forget you can listen all day, every day to any of the programs here, including mine Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 in the morning on ksunradio.org. That's ksunradio.org. We're going to take a quick sponsor break. When we come back on the flip side, Brett Favre, Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers, Brett Hundley, Green Bay Packers. We're going to be talking about it right after this. Don't you dare touch that dial.